How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 16th of November 2022. So I'm going to be going over a lot of content today in this video. We'll go through some of the things that I want to be talking about, and then we'll kind of get back to the charts and see how all of this plays out over the next sort of 6 weeks, the remainder of the year. If you're finding value in the videos that I create, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, all the usual good stuff. So what I want to do is I just want to quickly go over some news-related articles. Obviously, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and just kind of give a brief overview of my thoughts on what could potentially be coming next, not necessarily what's happening with him and FTX, because the spill out that affects investors is what I'm interested in, and whether or not this can be mitigated and what we should be thinking about as investors, sort of going forward to protect ourselves, our investments, and those that we love and care about. Because let's be frank, we invest because we want to make our lives and everybody else's lives around us better, right? So if we just kind of scroll down a little bit, I want to show a clear distinction here between what's actually happening and what is continuing to happen in this space. And in some cases, it can be a little bit irresponsible, right? So we have all of this stuff going on with FTX. We've got exchanges halting withdrawals. This is a fact. Yeah, this is a fact. There's no ifs or buts about it. There are exchanges that are halting withdrawals while they go through the process of trying to figure out whether or not they're going to be able to continue business, right? Again, it's a fact. So the irresponsible nature of some of the things that we see within cryptocurrency and the news and everything else is things like this XRP price prediction. This was 6 hours ago as of right now, recording of this video. XRP price prediction as XRP turns green, $1 incoming question mark. People read things like this and without any understanding about investing, understanding potentially of the cryptocurrency market as a whole, or even what XRP is, they see this and they may potentially jump on an exchange while all of this chaos is happening, purchase XRP thinking it's okay, and then end up getting stuck on an exchange somewhere, right? So if you're already on an exchange, fine, you're on it, you know what I mean? You do whatever you need to do to protect your investment, right? But if you are not already on an exchange and you potentially read something like this, why would anybody go and willingly sign up to any exchange at the moment? It doesn't matter which exchange it is. It's best to just let things settle a little bit, try to figure out what's happening, keep abreast of news that makes sense, and be able to filter out some of the crap that we read and see. Because as investors, we're trying to put ourselves in the best possible positions. And I really don't think it's a good idea jumping from exchange to exchange at the moment, when you've got money on the line. So we also see Bitcoin price prediction as Ukraine conflict escalation fears send prices lower. This is not the reason why Bitcoin's going low. The reason Bitcoin's going low is because of everything that's happening within the cryptocurrency market, right? It's very easy to look outside of cryptocurrency sometimes and say, okay, inflation this, and I've spoken about inflation many times and I've talked about a lot of different things, but the reality is the madness that happens within cryptocurrency is why Bitcoin, altcoins, some of the beloved tokens that we are invested in, are taking a beating right now because people like this guy right here, are responsible for basically stealing billions and billions of dollars and putting a huge amount of risk out there, of investor funds and screwing everybody over, and the byproduct of that is lower prices within the cryptocurrency market, right? And this is something that affects the entire cryptocurrency space. Then you have pre-sales. The hottest pre-sale of 2020 robot era metaverse has virtual reality functionality coming soon. How to buy. Once again, let's get everybody involved in crypto. Education is absolutely key in this space. I've said this so many times, and there's so many great educators out there and people from project to project that are also promoting and pushing education within cryptocurrency, in the cryptocurrency space, and trying to tell people, look, this isn't a quick rich, a get rich quick scheme. Although many have luckily found a way, throughout their time in cryptocurrency to 10x or 100x or even 1000x their money, fine, but these aren't things that happen regularly and consistently. And then we see new developments. Sam Bankman-Fried is attempting to raise new capital to fix FTX problem. This problem, in my opinion, based on what I'm reading, based on what I'm seeing, is not fixable. Binance said that they were going to acquire FTX, assuming And under the condition that what they did or what they found within their due diligence, right, made sense. It didn't, and they immediately pulled out. Did not take very long, you know what I mean? But that basically just fell through. So if Binance aren't interested, in saving FTX, why on earth would anybody give Sam Bankman-Fried money, to fix FTX? This problem isn't fixable. This problem is going to continue to spread throughout the cryptocurrency markets, in my opinion. This is what I believe. And it's going to continue to make things worse as exchanges drop off, and we're going to have big players left. And obviously regulation is going to come in, and hopefully the kind of regulation that stops this from happening and, puts people like this, where they belong, in my opinion, right? So experts believe these cryptocurrencies are about to explode 10x. Here's why. In a down market, while everything's going to shit, while people are losing their shirts, while people are suffering and their investments are down 90+%, right? These guys are talking about cryptocurrencies that are going to explode 10x, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I don't think it's responsible to be posting things like this right now while we're all kind of going through this mess. Then we have the FBI is planning to extradite Sam Bankman-Fried as crypto contagion from FTX collapse spreads to 20 billion BlockFi, right? So BlockFi has obviously been in the news. We know now, obviously, that BlockFi halted, their withdrawals. I actually got an email. I must have had an account open with BlockFi at some point. I've never actually used BlockFi, but I've got an account open with them somehow. Maybe I opened an account a long time ago, and I received an email. Basically, they were being as transparent as possible. Fair play to them, because the email did say, look, we have exposure to, FTX, and this is going to be, a problem. So we're in the process of kind of trying to figure out how all of this plays out. So again, fair play to BlockFi, but, extraditing, this guy and bringing him to justice, whatever that justice looks like, I think is something that's very important. It needs to be addressed. I don't wish any ill on anybody, but, there's a lot of people suffering right now, and there needs to be answers, and whatever type of regulation comes in needs to be the type of regulation that stops this, but gives us as honest cryptocurrency engagers the ability to be able to have control over our cryptocurrency. And then you have, let's accept. I don't want to subscribe. To be honest, it's just a headline that I'm interested in. Crypto lender Genesis suspends withdrawals as FTX fallout continues, right? So we have another exchange now, right? I have spoken to people that I know, who have funds on various different exchanges. So it's not just Genesis. There's actually quite a few. At least there's another 3 that I know of. At least the people that I know have noticed a few sort of niggly things. And they've taken their money off the exchanges. I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. Taking money off exchanges and just keeping it kind of in either a decentralized wallet offline, or in a ledger, as I've mentioned before, to protect your money, to protect your investments, isn't a bad idea. Anybody saying, no, don't do this. No, man, it's like your money. You know what I mean? Protect your capital. This isn't a joke, right? At the end of the day, until all of this fizzles out and we kind of get a much clearer and better picture of what's going on going forward, then I think every investor has the right to, think a little bit about their investment, maybe do what they think is best for them, right? Then you have another, headline here about major crypto brokerage Genesis suspends withdrawals in wake of FTX. It's just basically what we've just been, discussing. And then FTX former CEO, whatever, man, claims crypto exchange is still solvent. Right? This was today at 2:00 GMT time. Right? He's still continuing to say that FTX is solvent. With all of this going on, he's saying FTX is solvent, right? So in one breath, we're hearing that he's trying to raise funds. In another breath, we're hearing he's being extradited by the FBI, or that he's trying to be, extradited by the FBI. And now we're reading something completely different. FTX former CEO claims crypto exchange is still solvent. Yeah, okay. So all of this information, and obviously it's all available online, and there's plenty of other news articles and, sort of Twitter posts and people who are on point. Just be careful what you're reading, obviously. There's a lot of craziness out there and a lot of stupid stuff that gets kind of posted. But the reality is FTX is bankrupt, yeah. They've probably stolen, investor funds. They've massively mismanaged, investor funds. And then on top of all of that, that is spilling out into the cryptocurrency market and causing, quite a few problems. So with Bitcoin, you can see obviously not a great deal has happened since the last time I was discussing Bitcoin and the chart and everything else, right? But it is holding in this area. So it is likely that we're going to continue to bleed lower, as I've said, sort of creeping closer to that 12,000, 11,655 level. And I've already given my thoughts and opinions on what that means for me personally as an investor. Those details are in my Discord. The link's in the description below. But having said all of that, we're in a moment in time where we're kind of going through this crucible period where cryptocurrency is basically under fire. It has been, pretty much since the beginning of, cryptocurrency, but, even more so now with this continuing incessant mismanagement, and theft and craziness that happens within this space that puts people off, right? And ultimately, we're probably going to end up in a situation where, the big boys are going to come along and say, look, we've got the answer, CBDCs, right? But anyway, I digress. I don't want to go too much into, kind of that side of things. But the reality, again, is that we as investors need to be able to kind of look at our investments and say, okay, look, what makes sense to me, right? Obviously, you guys know that I've got a project on the Binance Smart Chain, and I'm making sure that I'm doing everything that I can, moving forward to account for everything that's happening within crypto and currency, to protect our investors and to protect the things that we're doing going forward after what happened to us. But, we don't just and this is obviously down to every single investor. We can't just haphazardly, move around the cryptocurrency space the way we used to, say, 5 months ago or 4 months ago or 3 months ago. Things are changing literally daily, right? And it's not always a good thing. I'm not saying there isn't some great things coming. There are some amazing things coming within this space, but we have to be responsible. As investors, we have to be responsible with the money that we have, and we have to be able to try to mitigate what that looks like going forward. So there's many people out there that may say, well, I don't really know. I don't really understand, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. Should I be buying right now? Should I be selling right now? I think if you just take a little bit of a step back and try to focus on those people who genuinely, who you can see genuinely want to make a difference in this space or are trying to help in this space, people who are, more educated, I look to different sources, and I try to ascertain from all of these sources what it is that is happening in this space, and I try to keep it to reputable sources. Now, how do you know who's reputable and who isn't, right? I think if you really read between the lines, you can see people who genuinely care and people who are just trying to get views, people who just really want to kind of post something on Twitter because they know this is happening in the moment, and I'm just going to kind of throw it out there and cause a little bit of panic, right? This is really not the time, to be following, or reading or engaging with these types of, individuals. What we need to be doing is we need to be looking at charts. We need to be looking at the fundamentals of the companies or the projects that we are, engaged in. And this is across the entire cryptocurrency space. And then making sure whatever it is that we're doing is in line with our plans sort of moving forward. So just going, over to Binance. Obviously, Binance is the largest exchange in the world. They have reserves. What I would suggest is you go to Binance.com, and start to read up on their policy, start to go through the process, take a look at Paxos as well, in terms of the whole BUSD side of things, and get a feel for how Binance operates and how, to be fair, it's quite different from, a lot of the exchanges out there. But for me personally, because we're predominantly focused on the Binance Smart Chain, in a lot of things that we do, we also have to remember anything that happens on the Binance Smart Chain is going to affect any project that's on the Binance Smart Chain, but it doesn't change the fundamentals of that project, the teams behind that project, and what it is that they're trying to do within this space. Okay, so there's a lot of things to think about, and I think some exciting times coming as well, but just be careful, be cautious, have a plan. And in terms of Binance, just on the chart side of things, again, I think we're just going to continue to bleed a little bit, probably see 235. We'll reassess, take it from there. The next 6 weeks are going to be pretty interesting. Volume will start to dry up, in December. This is very important to remember, because the dry up of volume means that, any volume that does hit the market is generally going to tend to cause a little bit more volatility than what we would usually see, in normal liquid markets. Okay, so just bear that in mind. And with all of that said, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best, guys. Take care. Ciao for now.